Welcome to the first episode of my new podcast called Stitches Unraveled. My name is Michelle and I am a crochet designer who's now starting to, go in more and more into knitting as well. So I am probably going to have a lot of different content on my channel that has to do with all kinds of crafty stuff, but mainly about crocheting and probably more and more knitting as well. Now, I wanted to make this kind of podcast and specifically in this concept because I've seen so many other creators out there who's done the same. And specifically, I think people who knits and then maybe do certain other things, not much within the crochet community. I feel like I've seen some videos about just regular videos really about what they want to whip up, what they want to crochet, what they are crocheting on, and etc. But not as much as like this kind of podcast concept, if you will. So I felt very, very drawn to it because I feel very much drawn to these videos myself. I enjoy watching them, and I also enjoy seeing what other people are doing. I also enjoy listening to what other people come up with, what kind of solutions they come up with when they face different challenges in their projects or when they're making their projects. So that's why I felt that I wanted to do this as well, because I love talking about knitting and crocheting and different, crafty things. So why not? I thought. So that's the reason, and that's a little bit what I know and what I am. Maybe what I am, but like what I am within this in this world, I guess. I'm a crochet designer who's now started to knit basically. And I've known knitting or about knit, like I knew the basics of knitting very like I was taught when I was very young, but I never really gravitated to knitting as much as I gravitated to crocheting. But now, just recently, and all started with the Sophie scarf. So I felt like I thought it was more fun now and started out with a bigger project, which I'm going to talk about very soon. So I'm not so sure where my knitting journey will lead me, but I'm hoping that I'm going to create more and more knitting things as well. So if you find these kind of podcasts slash videos interesting, I'm not so sure yet if I'm going to keep it to just video as a video content, or if I'm also going to make the audio, possible to, I guess, connect with or listen to at other apps. We'll see about that. But grab something cozy to drink, maybe also a project to work on. And we're going to jump into the first chapter of this podcast, which is the current projects. So yes, I just finished actually a pattern on the beginning of this week. So I have actually released now recently a pattern on my Etsy shop. I will also get into Ravelry, as I think it's called. I have just not had the chance to sit down and just really dive into what that all requires or how that looks and all that. I've just just done Etsy because that's all I know for now. So we'll see about that. But I've at least released my bag pattern at Etsy, and it's called the Barcelona handbag. So it's a crocheted bag, if you will, with a very cool handle, very sturdy handle. So if you want to, you can always check that out. I made two when making that pattern, and it's pretty beginner friendly. I would say it's very simple stitches. The one thing that I think might be a little bit new is obviously the handle, but I also have a free tutorial on my YouTube channel on how to make that handle. So maybe it will be interesting for a beginner crocheter as well. So I'm not going to show you that one right now, but I want to show you my current projects, what I'm working on right now, basically my work in progress. So I started with this one yesterday, and I don't know if you can see what it is, but it's going to be Togepi from Pokemon, and I'm just basically freestyling it, and I'm also writing down what I'm doing at the same time. I'm now not so sure if I did enough of the yellow, maybe Maybe I should have had it maybe 1 or 2 row lower, but we'll see. It's going to come up with those spiky things on the head as well. So I think it's been pretty fun to make this one. I've done some but like some surface crocheting on top of it. And right now, I don't have much left, I feel, to finish it. And it is for my daughter because she wanted a Togepi little Pokemon before. I've made 2 Jigglypuffs, one for each of my older daughters. But one of them wanted really much a Togepi, so I'm going to hopefully be able to, make that for her. I have a very old as well project that I've been working on. Now, this doesn't look much, but I have a whole nother set or a whole nother piece as well. And this is half of a hexagon cardigan. So I had already done, like, I have one side finished, and this is the second piece. And this second piece was already finished and done, but it turned out to be not the same size as the other piece because I don't know if I did use a different crochet hook, if my tension was a bit different because I waited so long in between. And so I've been a little bit unmotivated to keep working on that because I had to unravel. Stitches Unraveled, as you know. That's one of the reasons why I called this podcast that, because I'm trying also to remind myself, when you're not happy, unravel it and try again, or frog it if you want, if you will. Because I think it's better to be, make something that you will actually use. And this is obviously going to be a clothing piece. Now, the reason why I'm not unraveling my Togepi to make sure that we have enough yellow is because I don't want to. And also because it's going to be a toy. So if it's not perfect, it's okay. I hope, we'll see. But when it's something that you're going to wear, a wearable, I feel like it's important then to frog it, which will be a theme today, I guess. And that's why I think it's a perfect name for this podcast, to call it Stitches Unraveled. So before maybe I show you, I started out with, when it comes to knitting, I did the Sophie scarf, and I was very happy with that. I had a few challenges, which I have a whole video about that, and where I go through that, where I, had problems. Hopefully I feel like I've sort of understood where I went wrong, and I will be able to create that or fix that I will make one more. So I will hopefully create or solve those issues that I had then. And it was mostly because I felt like I got these small holes when decreasing, and I didn't understand really why, but probably because I had too big of a knitting needles. We'll see. I'll figure it out when I go back to that again. But like I said, the Sophie scarf was the walk into knitting for me this time around. I felt like, wow, I really enjoyed knitting that. I really want to continue knitting. And then I felt like I wanted to do something that I could wear. And I also wanted to do something that I was going to wear. And everyone starts with a basically sweater jumper. But I felt like, because I am breastfeeding, I have a 1-year-old, recent 1-year-old, and I'm planning also on stop breastfeeding probably soon, because the baby got teeth, and I don't think I need to say more. I'm planning on probably stop breastfeeding very soon. However, I'm not sure when, and therefore, if I have a jumper on and I have to constantly, pull it up and down, I felt like that was going to be probably a reason why I would probably not wear it as much, at least not for now. And I don't want to make something that I'm just going to have in my closet until I'm ready. So for me, then I started thinking, maybe I should make a tank top, because that doesn't, that I use those a lot, even though I use probably the breastfeeding sort of tops mostly. But I think a tank top, would have been working fine as well, even though it would be without that. So I started making a tank top, a camisole tank top, and I will probably try to show you exactly which one. I don't remember the name right now, so if you're watching this video, you will see which one I mean. And I think it's like a ribbed tank top, and I really think this is a gorgeous one, and I really want to make that one. However, I had a few issues. First, I didn't follow the instruction on what kind of yarn you should use. And I didn't even look into if it was going to be the thicker or the like what kind of like size of the yarn. I just grabbed one that I thought would be good because I had more than one roll or skein of that bulb, and then it just turned out too big. So I unraveled, frogged it, and started over with a different yarn that I had, which was the Drops Flora fingering yarn, and that like started to turn out really good. Like the straps, is that what you call it, up on the top, and then when I started, the front part of the tank top looked really nice until it was time to increase and on the edges, and that gave me some issues. And then I unraveled, went back and thought, okay, I'm gonna try this one more time. But then again, I feel like, because when it's a ribbed piece, I feel like it's so visible if you purl instead of doing a stockinette stitch, for example. And I could have lived with one or two. I feel like I got the hang of it on the first, the first time I did it, but then when you had to do it again, I sort of messed up again, and it just looked sloppy. And I felt like, I was starting to think like, will I really wear this, or will this bother me a lot? So I ended up actually frogging the whole thing, unravel everything that I had done, and thought, okay, I'm going to do something different. And everyone is saying that start with a jumper, that's usually easier. But then I didn't want to do the jumper because, again, like I didn't want to, for the reasons I said before. So I thought, okay, I'm going to make a cardigan. And I know cardigans are probably harder to do, but I thought I might as well do something that I will actually use. So I ended up looking into Petite Knit because she's known to be very good with her patterns. Plus, I've already followed the pattern for this Sophie scarf, so I was already familiar with the way she wrote. She's writing knitting patterns. So I ended up going with the Eva cardigan, or Eva cardigan. I don't know how you would pronounce it in Danish, but Eva cardigan, or Eve cardigan, I guess, in English. And I was surprised how well I did. And here is how much I've done. I mean, I'm not finished, but I mean, I'm surprised how like much I understood straight away. Here you can see, I'm a little bit scared to lose my stitches there, but as you can see how far I've gone with this one. Can you see? Like, I'm not too far off. I'm soon gonna like start, knitting it together and leave space for the arms here. I don't know what you call it, but like I'm almost to that place. And I'm actually really pleased. Now, there are a few mistakes. Like, I feel like I've been looser on some places, which made the stitches look a little bit bigger. I know that up here on the shoulders, where I sort of, I don't know if I can show you here on the video without unraveling accidentally this time, but you can see this part. I'm sorry if I can't explain it properly, but this part where it's like the shoulder part, and on that side. So on one side, I think I fished up the stitches on the inner loop, if that makes any sense. And on the other side, I think I did it on the outer loop. So it's like a tiny little difference on both sides. I don't think anyone will care or like look at it too close. I know about it because, yeah, I'm working on this piece, but I don't think that's going to be so visible. So I obviously did not want to redo that part. But I'm so pleased with myself and seeing how it's all coming together. And I feel like it looks really, really good. And I am eager to continue with it constantly. I've worked with this for just a week when I've had time, so not constantly, because I've obviously worked on other projects too. So I'm actually also very pleased on how far I have gotten with this piece, considering the time also I've had to work on it. And I am so like eager to work with it, and I basically want to work with it all the time, but I also need to make room for other projects, of course. So I'm really pleased and eager to see how well I will do this cardigan, and I'm really hoping that it's going to be, well done. At least it doesn't need to be perfect, but just like well done, and that I'm going to not feel like I'm getting stuck on certain places. I do feel like this upper part takes a little longer because of all the increases that you need to do on certain or specific places. Also, because I'm new at knitting, I need to know where to do the twisted left stitches and regular stitches as well. And obviously, yeah, that takes, like, I really need to look at the pattern several times. It is sort of a raglan, I guess, increasing, or like in a way that you're working. And also, I think that another thing that is taking me a little bit longer is this back and forth, because you need to go back and do the purling, and then you can keep going with the stockinettes and increasing and such. So I think that also is what's taking me a little bit longer. But I'm pleased. Like, I'm so happy because I think it at least goes fast enough. I'm seeing a result, and that is making me very motivated to keep going. So yeah, those are my current projects at the moment, and I'm really much looking forward to yeah, to continue with those. So let's jump into chapter 2. So this chapter, I've called it the crochet and knitting projects that I want to do next. So once I hopefully will be finishing with these projects, I am hoping to then jump into a hat that I want to crochet. I'm not sure exactly. I think I'm going to do some kind of bucket hat with kind of ooh, a yarn that is like a towel material. I'm not sure what it's called now, but a towel material kind of thing, because I have that and I would like to use it. And I was thinking maybe a kind of a bucket hat out of that. That would be cool and fun to make. Another thing that I would like to knit after, if I really like do well on this cardigan, I think I'm gonna go over and have a little break from a big project and make a Sophie scarf, because I have yarn for it. And then I think I might after that jump into that tank top that I was, having troubles with before, the camisole one, and then try to see if I can, if I've learned enough things now that I might do it a little bit less. That it might be a little bit easier for me to make it. I'm a little bit scared though that it's going to be a fingering yarn, so it takes a little longer time. I didn't say it, but in the Eve cardigan, I'm using the Flora Drops yarn, but with double threads. So it is going a little bit quicker, I think, because of that as well. But the tank top, I feel like I want to give it another go, and also to create that bucket hat. But I also have another pattern that I want to do crochet wise, and that is a beret. A beret. I have a yarn for that too, so I want to jump in and make that as well. So those are my projects. Like two crochet projects is the beret and the bucket hat, and then knitting project is the tank top and the Sophie scarf. I hope to finish my hexagon cardigan too at some point. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I think it will be really cool to see it come together, but it's just that I need to find motivation to sit down and do it. And hopefully it will go fairly quick once I do that. So I just need to decide and make a decision and just grab on to that. So we'll see. I also, after making that crocheted Togepi one, I have to do another Pokemon for my other daughter, and I'm not sure which one I will have to make for her, but just to keep it fair. So I will probably have to make another Pokemon soon as well. So those are my coming projects, and we'll see how fast I will get onto those. Let's jump into chapter 3. So chapter 3 is my spotlight question of the episode, I guess. And today I wanted to talk a little bit more about, is slow fashion becoming, faster fashion? Because I feel like, especially being in this world now where I see a lot of other people creating and being crafty, it is this people are feeling more, I feel like many of us wants to do things quicker. Like with my cardigan, it's taken me a week and I feel like I want to be finished. And I think that's where I'm coming from with this whole slow fashion kind of thing. Is it becoming fast fashion or faster fashion? Oh, sorry, hit myself in the back. Yeah, so I want to see, or talk a little bit more about that, and then hopefully you guys want to have anything else to say about that, or want to comment something about that, and you can leave that obviously in the comments below. Not just about this question, obviously you can comment whatever you want, but yeah, I just wanted to have this space or this chapter to be a little bit also about highlighting certain questions within this I guess category or world that we are in. And I guess this the whole thing, I guess, with knitting and crocheting and other crafts, it's all about, like, slowing down and taking your time, doing something creative, and also have a little bit more maybe respect for the material that we're using, trying to recycle, upcycle, and all of those things. And I think all of those things are really good. And I do think that, for example, myself, I love having something constantly going. I feel like it's so meditative and therapeutic. And I think that it's important for me to always create, because that's when I feel most alive. And so I don't think that, you know, that is the wrong part of it. I think that the slow fashion becomes bad when it becomes faster, and it becomes bad when you feel stressed to finish things, because you want to, like, sort of present things for others and it's not for yourself anymore. Or slow fashion becoming faster because other people are asking you to do things, and you feel almost stressed to do it just because they are asking it from you. Even if they pay you or not paying you, you might feel like you're not enjoying it anymore because there is, like, this very short deadline on when to finish something. So I think it's like, I guess with the reason why I wanted to talk a little bit more about it is just basically to remind myself, and maybe you who listen or seeing this video, to remember why you're crocheting or knitting, that it's about, that therapeutic, cozy moment, just you and the craft that you're doing. And to remember to enjoy that and enjoy the journey of that. I know that I saw another knitter, or I think it was a knitter or a crocheter, I don't know, but I know it was a she, and she said that every time she grabs onto a, I think it was a sweater or maybe it was something, that she said that I remember knitting this because I was knitting it when I was doing this, I was on this trip or whatever, and it's always reminding me of that trip. Like, how cool is that? Like, that's like a wearable memory that always will remind you of a certain, place or a situation or a travel that you might have been doing. So I think that is important too. For example, me knitting on this cardigan will always remind me of this apartment that I'm living in now and probably won't live in forever. This will be the first wearable I will ever, obviously, that I've ever done, the knitted wearable. So that will keep reminding me of that. So I try to, like, slow down, and that just mentally slow down and just remind myself that, how special it is that I can create something out of just some knitting needles or a crochet hook with yarn. And we create so many beautiful pieces, so it's good to take a moment to just slow down for that and have that in mind. But then again, obviously, I don't think it's wrong to look into ideas and tips and hacks on how to crochet faster, knit faster, and be better at a skill or do things a little bit quicker, because there's so many cool projects out there that I want to be a part of and have the chance to make. And so I think that in the end, it's about finding a balance, and don't forget the purpose of why you're doing what you're doing, basically. And don't forget your purpose of why you picked up that crochet hook or those knitting needles once upon a time. So that's my little, like, input on that question, that spotlight question of this episode. So if you have any thoughts about that, or any, like, whatever thoughts that might come up when asking this question, please let me know in the comment below, or maybe we can keep the discussion going in there with either you and I or with others as well. And yeah, we're coming to an end to this episode. So yeah, let's jump into my outro. Okay, so now we are in the end of this episode, and I have 3 things that I want to ask from you before you leave. And that is, one, what do you think about this kind of concept or episode? Do you want to add any more chapters? Do you want to see other things or me talking a bit more about other things? Yeah, let me know what you think. If the concept is cool or yeah, if there's anything that you would like to change. The second thing that I want to know is obviously, what did you work on? Did you work on anything during this episode? Let me know in the comments below. And the third thing is, do you have a new idea for a new spotlight question that I can have in coming episodes? Let me know that too. And that is all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this concept. And obviously, this was the first episode. So I feel a little bit new on how to do this and how to, just me talking to the camera and remembering to, keep myself into the subject that I'm talking about. So I hope you enjoyed it. And once again, thank you so much for watching or listening. And I hope I will see you in the next episode. But before I go, I think I should answer the question probably is, how often will I make these episodes? And right now, I think I will make them at least once a month, but we'll see if they will be more frequently or not. We'll see how this concept do out in the world. But yeah, that's all I had for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.